Welcome to the afternoon edition. My name is Issa Nu. Today we shall be discussing so many issues with regards to what is currently happening in the country. And as you know, just a few days back, the inauguration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took place, and so many people are happy with the kind of presentation he made during the course of his speech. And as a result of that, so we are definitely going to look at some of these issues that he raised and how Nigerians will react to some of them. And definitely, there are those people who have so much ways of making sure that yes, some of the statement made by the president is brought to light in such a way that Nigerians will know all that the president planned to do. And some of them are those who were on the field to make sure that yes, his election was a success. So today we'll be having the national vice president of the Nigerian Youth and Policy, person of Desmond Olariwaju, who is here in the studio, and also with one of the major stakeholder, an honorable whose name will be made known after the break, while we are still expecting him to be set for the program. So we'll take a very short break, and when we return, we'll start up with the conversation.
Sir, can you please give us the permission to search you? You can go.
Is this a movie? If it happened...
Officer, I beg carry and go station. When our Oga come, you come meet am for there.
Hey, Mr. Man, I cannot do that.
Tell your guy to come to our station when he returns.
Am I in a movie? If it happen,
Mama, please. Mama, please.
Thank God you're here. Do the needful.
Mama, please, just 3 weeks now.
Madam, why did you invite us to come help chase your tenant now?
This is a civil matter now.
Is this a movie? If it happen,
If we follow
The new police law.
Mr. President, last Saturday, the country which I have the honor to represent, the Federation of Nigeria, became independent and assumed the rights and the responsibilities of a sovereign state. Today, Nigeria has been admitted into the United Nations organization and assumes still more responsibilities. I wish to make our position plain beyond any matter of doubt as regards the African continent. We in Nigeria appreciate the advantages which the size of our country and of its population give us, but we have absolutely no aggressive intentions. We shall never impose ourselves upon any other country and shall treat every African territory, big or small, as our equal, because we honestly feel that it is only on that basis of equality that peace can be maintained in our continent. We in Nigeria are a populous country. There are about 40 million of us, and our territory is relatively large. We are willing to learn before we rush into the field of international politics. But we are totally unwilling to be diverted from the ideals which we think true. That is the reason, Mr. President, why we in Nigeria shall not be found to align ourselves as a matter of routine with any particular bloc. Indeed, I hate the very idea of blocs existing at all in the United Nations. It seems to me to be a contradiction in terms. And when we hear the world crying out for peace, we may receive the inspiration to deal with these intractable problems and be able really to devote all our resources to the advancement of mankind by applying those eternal truths which will inevitably persist long after we ourselves are utterly forgotten. Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome back from that mouth break, and I'm still discussing on the issue of Tinubu's assumption, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's assumption in office. And as a result of that, we're having Honorable Tokbe Sonia, who was also the chairman of the Tinubu Shetima movement, and also we're having Desmond Olariwaju. Desmond is the national vice president of the Nigerian youth in politics. So good afternoon to you guys. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So let me quickly start with Mr. Honorable Tokbe. Honorable, looking at the current situation we have on ground, the president has been inaugurated. This will be his third day, on the fourth day of him in office. How do you see him achieving some of his policy plan that he has already mentioned during his speech?
Thank you. I will quickly want us to go a bit into memory lane to know who our president is. You know, he's a man that is well vested politically on the Nigerian landscape, and is well tested. And because he's well tested, he has been a governor of Lagos State with impeccable, administrative, success, and they are built on that. So coming back to Nigeria, when you look at the Renewed Hope template, as I normally tell a lot of people over the few days in Abuja, it's not about just a document. It's not about this document. It's a well thought out document that reflects the yearnings of every single Nigerians in terms of rich, poor, middle class. You can agree with me for some time. The middle class, the region has been abolished. It's either you are rich or you are poor. So, and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is coming with the fact that the first thing to do is to establish that middle class, because it's a major balance between the rich and the poor, and it studies the economy in terms of cash flow, in terms of investment opportunities, and so on. So expectations for his administration, I personally says Nigerians should look forward to a better future.
Okay, quickly, Desmond, and your response with regards to this, because I remember during the course of the campaign, you are one major person that really pulled so much crowd during the course of campaign. So what level of trust should we give to this present administration?
For Nigeria to call out a mass throughout the campaign to support Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is because of the trust they have in him, especially when he was the governor of Lagos State. And apart from that, the role he has played, oftentimes, molding the national political environment of Nigeria in the last 12 years. He has contributed to the development of democracy. So he has avenged the position of the national leader even before he was elected president of the country. He has been contributing in terms of policy, even if it's not directly there. He has a lot of people that he has mentored, that learned and went through his school of thought, the National Assembly that made where law is being propagated and laws are being made. So Tinubu has been part of Nigeria's story for a very long time, at least for me, since 1999. He has been part of this story. And then, so it is not new. All that we know now is that he's here in the hands of affairs, and some of his personal aspirations that actually give him some challenges, he'll be able to put it out now and tell Nigerian truly who he is. So I am expecting Nigeria to give him support, because he's somebody that can do wonders.
Okay, well, you say he's somebody that can do wonders, and many Nigerians will say, okay, probably maybe this was the wonder that has already started. We've seen a situation where the fuel issue is back, and we've seen that there are so many issues of fuel scarcity all across. The cost of pump price has increased. So are these the wonders we should be expecting from him?
That is not what, it's not the kind of wonder. This is a negative thing that we are seeing presently. From enemy of government within government and enemy of the country within the country. You agree with me that the president just made a factual statement in his speech that from what he has heard, because he was briefed, that from the briefing, there is nothing like allocation or budget allocation for subsidy in this 2023 or 2024 going forward. So Nigeria shouldn't expect subsidy payments. So because of that statement, people decide to frustrate him, to frustrate the process by holding fools at the filling station. So what I want you to know is that this is not one part of the wonder. And I know that presently discussions, negotiation, and more looking inwards is going on by Mr. President. I know he's presently calling on people, asking questions, because he's this kind of person that loves to ask questions. He loves to investigate. He loves working with truth. So he's already doing his permutations to know why would Nigeria at this point be having fuel scarcity. And I'm very sure within few days it will be resolved.
Okay, Honorable Tope, looking at this current issue now, the issue of the economic challenges we are facing, how do you see Tinubu addressing this whole problem, from the issue of fuel scarcity to the issue of inflation? How do you think he's going to tackle it?
I want to buttress the point of my good comrade. The fuel scarcity is a sabotage on the Nigerian economy. I'll quickly talk on it before I go to the economic issue.
Okay.
So why I say it's a sabotage is when the president only make a pronouncement, and for all we know, NNPC and the people that are saddled with the responsibility of bringing in fuel, they are saying that they have more than enough fuel, meaning that those fuels within the depots that they have, that they are going to sell to the marketers, are already subsidized fuel. So why are we having panic buying? Why are the stations trying to extort the people? But I'm happy for one thing. We could see the direction at which the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be going. I was looking at some of the news that was coming up from Ekiti, Ilorin this morning, whereby the people that are saddled with the responsibility of making sure they monitor the distribution of fuel like a task force are already sealing up fuel filling stations that are going against the pump price, because the fuel they have is already subsidized. So it's our own man-made problem. It is not the problem of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and it was clear in his times when he was campaigning that no, fuel subsidy can't stay, because you can't be having money in the hands of just some few people, and the rest will suffer. So that bulk of money that should be used for that will be used in some areas of the economy. Now, coming back to the economy, when you look at the Nigerian economy, if you have to look at it, you see that we are a consuming economy, and meaning that as a consuming economy, we have to encourage local manufacturing of products. And what do I mean by local manufacturing of products? We have to ensure that our products are given credence in terms of value. And so there's no reason for somebody to produce, for example, shoes and bags here, and some people feel that, okay, the ones that they're selling for maybe $2,000 is better. So immediately we start looking inward as a person. But going to Asiwaju's administration and what we expect economically, we only test a man by what he has done. That is his antecedents. If you go somewhere and look for a work, you say bring your resume, and your resume will speak for you initially before you take up that job. The resume of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu shows what he did in Lagos in terms of economy. At a particular time, former President Olusegun Obasanjo, withheld the funds that will be given to Lagos, and this man looked inward. And what did he do? He was able to look into how Lagos, that's not an oil-producing state, could generate a massive IGR to herself, and he did it successfully. And I know he's bringing that same template into Nigeria, a template to identify the opportunities and the peculiarities of the economic strength of each of the region, and each of the states. This we have not been doing for the past, for the past 45 years. Because we have the Middle Belt where we know we have the mineral resources in the Middle Belt, where we know we have some of the cement deposits. How much has the government gone into that? We have a Jakarta also in the Middle Belt. So I know Asiwaju has, through his template, is going to, address that. He was the one that first brought the PPP, that is the public-private participation. That was one of the reasons why Lagos economy grew. He brought in companies, and he was giving them tax cuts. Okay, do this, I'll give you a tax cut. And before you know, they were happy to invest in Lagos. Go to VI. We don't have all those all those companies that you have in VI and the Lekki Lices. You don't have them. Maybe the ones we have, the high tech, like for example, the computer village we have in Ikeja, it wasn't there. Pre-Asiwaju's governorship term. But right now, that computer village you see there brings in close to $5 to $6 billion every single year into Lagos, and is the largest computer hub market in Africa. So that is the type of person you should expect. You expect an Asiwaju that will make sure that the North Central Zone, for example, where Nasarawa, where Plateau, where Kogi, and the rest are, identify a peculiar, a peculiar economic, transformation within there, and let the private sector key into that to provide jobs and opportunity for the teeming youth. That will stop the migration of the youth to, the major supposed urban centers. Also, you look at the restiveness in the Niger Delta. The Niger Delta are the one giving us oil, but their people are so poor, they are impoverished. Why is that? Asiwaju is telling them, and that's why people like Asari Dokubo, are key into, the administration and the transformation that Asiwaju is trying to bring. He has said that the Niger Delta will be held responsible. I mean, their leaders will be held responsible for all other economic transformation that will be coming there. And he is going to come out with the template that will be pushing out to the National Assembly, the Senate and the House of Rep, whereby, this is like a cartel. So God will help him. It's like a cartel. But whereby the oil companies in those regions will be saddled with responsibility of cleaning up the environment, of providing basic infrastructure. And what does government want to do to them in exchange? To give them a tax cut, and also give them a preferential way of doing their business. And when you have that, it's done all over the world. Las Vegas in the United States is just there for gaming, no other thing. And they bring in about the last time I checked, about $1.6 trillion into the American economy. You go to...
But then if you say that, and you look at Las Vegas, you look at the United States, you compare it to Nigeria, definitely there are differences. Most especially when it comes to the issue of security. Before I go back to Olariwaju, how do you see him addressing security? Because economy cannot thrive where there is insecurity.
So, thank you, my moderator. I don't want to jump to that because you asked me specific questions.
Yes, I'm going to that now.
Because before you have a permanent or you have a stronghold economy base, you have to have a sound security setup. And when you look at what we're expecting as Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration on security, I for one, looking at his templates that I'm opportune to have seen anyway, because a lot of people just campaign. You don't really look at the document the candidate or the aspirant is putting up. I looked at it from page to page, and the area of security, it has a very robust way of tackling security in Nigeria. The first thing is to increase the funding to our military, to our defense, in terms of bringing in up to date equipments and sophisticated infrastructure for them to work with. Because when the military or the defense are well equipped and are well motivated, you find out that the real essence of being a military officer or a defense officer will come out in them. They'll be ready to really die for their country. They will not be people that will have a disaster. Now, coming to him himself, the architecture that we have in Nigeria is one that is, we have so much fragile and open, borders across Nigeria. He is saying that with proper policing of our borders, that is the first thing that he is trying to do. When you look at his template, proper policing of our borders, our various borders, especially the northern borders, where it's so wide. We have people coming in through the Sahara, in and out, from Sokoto to Maiduguri to to Zamfara and what have you. So if you have proper policing of our borders, not especially to be by human policing, because that could take a lot of resources from us. But with technological policing, we have the drones have been developed right now, and it's just for us to tap into those technologies where we have drones that could go from Sokoto to Maiduguri within less than 2 to 3 hours. It's gone. It's giving you real-time data to the defense center, whereby you can see real-time what is happening in Zamfara. Tune into there through your satellite imaging, and from there you can localize any threat that comes through that. When the bad people knows, the banditries and everything knows that the military and the police and the security network knows where they are, you see that the influence of trying to breach security in the country will definitely go down.
Okay, well, let me quickly come back to Olariwaju. Now that he has listed this particular issue, and I remember before now, even in the southwest, you have this team of security guards called the Amotekun, and that seems to be a regional, I think, apart from Lagos, where they have a neighborhood watch. In other regions, we've not actually seen that. Will we adopt this regional security outfit into the government?
I think there have been arguments about state policing for some time now. Most governors during this last administration really push, especially from the southeastern part of the country, that because of the security crisis over there, there is a need for them to be given the opportunity. You see them that time trying to set up some security outfit which is illegal, just like differently from the Amotekun. So right now, I would expect the Asiwaju that I know will call on them to see how Nigeria can be more secured. Asiwaju is a politician. He's a politician that understands the yearnings of the people. Asiwaju is not a military person, and Asiwaju is not coming here for the sake of being called Mr. President. He's coming to see how he can bring up holistic solution to all the segmatic problems that we're having in the security architecture. I am optimistic that Asiwaju may give in for state policing, because Asiwaju that I know is a core politician and a Democrat that wants power to be decentralized for efficiency, that wants security control to be decentralized for efficiency. And he's not doing that for political gains. He's doing that because he has seen that in the southwest, for example, in Lagos State, Lagos State happens to be one of the first states to introduce what they call ROS, Rapid Response. Yes. And then if you look at Lagos as a template, you find out that Asiwaju is this kind of person that does not believe that one person can do it all. He gives you brothers to support you, sisters, organizations to support you. Just like you have the police, we have the RRS, we have the Operation Mesa, we have the Neighborhood Watch, and Kai. All these are introduced by His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So even the last month. Yeah. So I am very confident and sure that Asiwaju is going to look inwardly to understand the problems. So when the solution to the problems is to create state police, Asiwaju will do that. He has no political gain in doing things just because he wants to be too powerful or he wants a particular segment of the country to be too powerful. Asiwaju will look at it holistically and bring the best solution. And the solution is going to bring will definitely turn around. Will definitely bring the much needed solution that Nigeria is looking for. And I'm also very confident. Technology. Asiwaju is technology savvy. If you look at Lagos State today, if you're talking about, gone are those days in Lagos State where where motorists are being chased by vehicles. No, that technology in place in Lagos, that if you commit any crime, you're captured. Anybody at all, if you're passing through our major road in Lagos State, you find out that anywhere you're passing, your information is being captured. That can also be replicated in all parts of Nigeria. And don't forget that all these are the things that Asiwaju has set up as his own foundation. while he was the governor.
Okay, before I move just back to get the roundup statement from Honorable Tope, I would like you to give me just a tidbit about how you think he can unite Nigeria, because his vote cut across. His vote did actually get that massive from the northeast and from the southeast. So how will he be able to bring people back on board to see that, yes, we are all a united nation? Just in a minute, so that I can quickly comment.
Asiwaju is a nationalist. If you look at Lagos State is one of those states in Nigeria where you have people coming from north given opportunity to be in the assembly or to be in the Lagos government. From the east, you see people in Lagos government. You see people coming from the north in Lagos government. So Asiwaju is this person, and if you listen to his speech very well, he said this is the time that we need to unite this country. So every effort that Asiwaju is going to put in place right now is to ensure the unification of this country. You can take that. You can take my word to the bank.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me quickly get the last word from Honorable Tope Sonia. Honorable, this will be your last statement on this, because I will continue with Desmond after the break. Looking at the situation on ground now, what do you think he is supposed to achieve in his first 100 days?
In the first 100 days, for
just a minute.
Yes, for who we know Asiwaju for, we should expect no magic. We should expect a doubling effect of some of the products, the projects of the predecessor, Buhari. Completion of some of those projects, and going forward, we should expect round pegs. Round holes and square pegs in
square holes. That's a very good way. Honorable, thank you for joining us on the program today. And also, we'll be going on a very, very short break, and when we return, we continue with the conversation.
Now is the time for us solemnly and truly to dedicate ourselves to seeking the greatest good of the greatest number of our people in Nigeria. Independence for Nigeria in 1960 is imperative. But independence for Nigeria as a corporate entity is not enough. The peoples of Nigeria must at the same time be guaranteed their freedom. We must ensure that in an independent Nigeria, individual citizens throughout the land enjoy liberty, human dignity, and equality under the law. There must be one Nigeria with one constitution and one law for all. Let us therefore, Mr. Chairman, sir, close our ears to the counsel of despair, which says that we cannot here at this conference agree on a constitution. If there's any doubt among us as to what should be written into the constitution, let us, as Democrats that we profess ourselves to be, refer such problems, as the goal has done recently, to the people whom we profess to represent, either just before or at the federal elections late in 1959.
Welcome from that break, and still with us here is Mr. Desmond Onlariwaju. Mr. Desmond being a major stakeholder in the push for the new government, and also a staunch member of the All Progressive Congress. Mr. Desmond, it's nice that you're still here with us after speaking with Mr. Tope Sonia, and I believe he has also raised critical issues which are very, very important, just like you also did. So now, let us move forward now. One major issue that we'll definitely be facing is the issue of education. And you know what it means for us to have a country that is well educated with all the institutions in place, unlike what we used to have in the past, where there used to be one or two issues regarding to most especially the tertiary institutions. So how do you see the government now addressing some of these issues?
First of all, I would always like to reference back to what Mr. President did say during his campaign sojourn. He said that I have heard you loud and clear. You could remember that this election period ushered us into that period where there is a strike, university student strike, ASU strike, and most of the students are home. And so the president said, I have heard you clear and loud. So I am very sure, and he promised, Mr. President did promise that he's going to look deeply into the issues of our tertiary education, to look at the loopholes and plug them all. He looked at all the issues surrounding our education, and he promised that there will never be strike in our university. So to that end, we are optimistic that he is a talk and do president, going by his antecedents and with what he has done in our institution in Lagos State and nearby. So I believe that His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu and administration, with the people that is going to bring aboard. I know presently who is going to be who. Permutation is ongoing right now. He is one person that believes in putting the round peg in the round hole. So I am very sure that he is going to bring in people that understand the challenges in our education sector. That is what I know. He's going to look at the best and he's going to bring them in to look at all the technicality. What is this about ASU? What is it that is causing problems? And it's not just about having a functional university, but having a curriculum that can affect the economy. Because even our situation in Nigeria right now requires what we call emergency. If the Mr. President can do best for us as young people, we now look at a situation where he would declare a state of emergency into our education sector, so that education will be tailored into providing solutions that the society is actually needing. It's not just a theoretical kind of education that we're having, where we have a bunch of people graduating every year without education, and some people will tell you they graduate without any skills. So one of the plead I will make to the Mr. President is that he should declare a total state of emergency, just like he's doing with the petroleum regulation right now, the regulation of petroleum sector now. He should look at the education sector, what is needed to be done. He should do it so that we can have a functional education system that when somebody graduates from school, even without government job, he will have hope of what to do to put food on his table. For me, I believe Mr. Tinubu is somebody that I trust, looking at his antecedent with what he has been doing and the caliber of person he is. He's definitely going to do something as per our education sector. So
if that's the particular case, and you've mentioned something that is very, very important before now, the issue of the NDA, Nigerian, I can't remember the full meaning now, but I know it has to do with skill acquisition and the rest of it. So now, if you look at the NDA, what the goal was set for, do you think we've really done much in terms of getting Nigerian to go into skills acquisition? Remember those good old days of Yaba Tech, Federal Poly, Ida, CAD Poly, and the rest of it like that. So do you really see him pushing the youth into that direction of getting skills?
National Directorate of Employment,
yes,
as it's called, NDE, is charged with the responsibility of providing technical skills to young people, and not only that, employment, to actually create a balance in terms of employment, because we may not have enough jobs, white collar jobs. So NDE is meant to give skills as well as to provide a kind of soft jobs to young people, skilled jobs to young people, to actually solve the problem of unemployment. But over time, you will find out that they've not actually lived to that, especially in the recent time, not like good old days, like you said. So I believe that Mr. President, who has been charged, especially during his campaign, that one of his priority is to provide job opportunity to our young people. So many occasions on his platform, he understood the problem. Unemployment rate in Nigeria is alarming. Mr. President is aware of this, and he has said it on countless occasions that his government is going to provide jobs. I am going to provide jobs for young people. So looking at a man who is so resolute about providing job opportunity, he will look at all available opportunities. NDE is one of them. NDE is charged with the opportunity to actually provide jobs for young people, those especially people with technical knowledge, skills, and technical skills. Not even in agriculture, they are meant to create balance. But over time, personally, most people in the street, if you ask them what has NDE been doing in the last 20-30 years, they may not be able to give you a clear answer, because their activities have been so limited. I don't know whether it is finance, I don't know whether it's some policy, but I know, and most people know, that that particular government agency has not been living to its expectation. So one will expect that a government that is so serious about providing young people with job opportunities, skills, and the rest of them will look into that direction. You don't need to create a new agency. We already have an agency in place. All that is needed to be done at this point in time is to give them all the necessary support, which has to do with budget. We have to look at the budget. What is the allocation for this year? What is the allocation that can actually provide or make meaning to Nigerians? So Mr. President should look into NDE to provide job opportunity and to support most small scale people, especially young people that are going into farming and others skills job. So I believe that is a good way to, is a move in the right direction.
But then in this particular case now, while we have ND as an institution, government institutions, we also have in Polytechnic who are also saddled with some of this responsibility to make sure, yes, the student don't just learn the theory aspect of it, but then even the practical aspect of it, which is very, very key. And that was the main reason why I referred back to the issue of the Yaba Tech of those days. And still, that glory is there, the CAT Poly, Federal Poly, either. These are schools that Nigerians reckon with, most especially when it comes to the issue of developing students into managing some of the machineries we have in the country or creating new ones. So in that particular, what kind of agenda do you think is going to set, not just for the universities, as many people are pulling their mind towards, but also for the federal polytechnics and college of education?
Thank you so much, Issa. You will find that our system has been so politicized, and most polytechnic institutions that we know before, right now they are now converting their syllabus into university. It's politics. You know, like we said, this institution are set to provide young people with technical knowledge and technical skills, and they come in our journey as people. Now the agenda is now changing from polytechnics now to university, and most state governments, they are lobbying and doing everything possible within their arms to see how this can be converted into university. Like we have before, the polytechnic in Kaduna has turned to university. In Lagos State, Last Protect is now University of Education. You know, all those things is because people do not really understand the main intention for creating those institutions in the first place. Now, we need, like I said earlier, that our education system needs an overhauling. A state of emergency needs to be declared because we have missed it, and that is affecting us as people. There are a lot of people that will tell you that I'm not employed. Now, the question is, are you unemployed or unemployability? The question, because there are some opportunities now that will open, and they will ask you for this skill and that skill, and then you come up with the answer of, I don't have this skill, I don't have that skill. That means you yourself, you are not prepared for that opportunity. And who is supposed to prepare for that opportunity is those polytechnic you just mentioned, those universities you just mentioned. But because of politics, and then you have people that are more interested in theoretically instead of the practical aspect, and that is the polytechnic. Polytechnic is a way of life. Like I myself, if I have a good counselor while I was growing up, I would have preferred to acquire skills from the university rather from the roadside mechanic, roadside technician, roadside vulcanizer. This polytechnic is where we are supposed to have. And if you travel outside the world, apart from Nigeria, they give credence to polytechnics, to I don't know whether they call it polytechnic. They give credence to technical and practical knowledge than theocracy. So I want our government to look into that. And if you are changing our polytechnics into university, you should create new polytechnics that will be saddled with the responsibility of giving pure technical knowledge to manage our machineries. Look at, if you go to many ministries today, you find out that this is not working, that is not working. Even common television, even to fix remote, battery into remote, some people don't know how to do it. So these are some of the things. And then you see every year government spending billions of naira maintaining what ordinarily will cost them some naira, some millions or some thousands. If you have put in place a technical person within the organogram of that institution. So it's a good thing. Like now, one of the things that I know that can provide job opportunity and relieve our economy is technical knowledge. So our polytechnic need to be on their foot to see how they can help you understand, to produce young people with technical knowledge that can help to man our equipment, our machineries, and some of the technical institutions we have in Nigeria.
Okay, and now just lastly, I just want to respond to this just in a moment. What support do you think the Nigerian, most especially Nigerian youth, need to give the present administration? Just the last question, just in 1 minute, please.
Yes, I would want to sincerely appeal to the Nigerian people. This is the first time we're having Democrats, we're having progressives taking the hands of affairs in this country. And the best we can do as young people, constituting over 65% of the country's total population, is a strength, is to queue behind the policies of Mr. President to see how we can transform our fortune. Mr. President is bothered, is concerned that few people are getting richer by the day, that the policies is bringing on the table will spread this wealth among young people and among the Nigerian people. So let's trust and hope in him and support his government with prayers and in any way we can, by not jeopardizing government policy and government infrastructures. Thank
you so much, Mr. Desmond Olarewaju. It's nice having you once more to tell us more about the Tinubu's agenda. And now that the government has started, we hope and we pray for the best for him. So thank you so much for joining us on the afternoon. This is how far we can go today on the afternoon edition. My name is Isanu. Have a wonderful day and stay blessed.